To enforce rules and guardrails to our Claude Code AI agents, we can make use of hooks. We know that LLMs basically take tokens as input and does its thing and outputs tokens. The thing that makes AI assistants special is, along with the LLMs, we have these tools that these LLMs have access to, right? So that's what makes the magic happen, right? For example, you give a request for a particular file to get created. Now, the LLM understands your request, but in order for it to create a file, it needs to do something on the disk, on your disk, right? So for that, it makes use of like maybe bash commands. Okay, so bash commands are the different tools that the LLM gets access to in order to actually do something. Now, and after it does things, you get your output, right? So that's basically the agentic workflow. It's LLMs with tools, right? So this is where the magic happens, LLMs with tools. Now, Claude Code gives us this ability where we can add these pre and post tool use hooks. So before the LLM evokes a tool to run, we can attach like a pre-tool use hook, and then after the tool is evoked, we can attach a post tool use hook. All right, so Claude Code basically provides us this feature where you can attach these hooks at certain moments, at certain events, basically before tool use and after tool use, and maybe once the agent has completed doing a particular task. This allows us to add commands to this pre-tool use hook. We can add our own custom scripts and commands that needs to run before a particular bash command is used. We can also run scripts and commands after, that said bash command is used. So this gives us a lot more control in a more deterministic manner of how the agent works, right? So for example, if there are certain files in your directory, in this case, let's say we have the OpenUSD project over here, and imagine you don't want the AI agent to like delete the assets folder ever, right? So even by mistake, the agent shouldn't remove the assets folder. So right now it has the kitchen set USD file. So we can add that enforcement. So you can even have certain files. Maybe you don't want it to delete the bat files, or like maybe an .env file that you have in your repo, right? So to set those guardrails, you can essentially, before it runs the rmrf command, you can, enforce this rule, right? Now, the cool thing is, all of this, the basic command, it comes through as a standard input, and the output of running that command comes out as standard output. So you can intercept the command that is coming from the LLM over here in your pre-tool use hook and do things. You can add logic, right? So if we say, like, if this particular command comes through, maybe using regular expressions, you can say, if this is the command that is coming through here, we intercept it and say, if you're trying to delete the assets folder, don't, right? And maybe after, it has finished running the command, if it will basically return an exit code of 0 if everything is good, and exit code of 2 if some error happened, and you can listen to that and do something post the tool use as well. This is super powerful. Essentially, it helps us to set guardrails for the agent to travel without having the hook. Let's ask Claude to delete the assets file, right? So let's we have Claude Code here. So what we'll do is we'll say delete the assets folder in the root level of this directory. It has removed it. So here you can see that the assets folder is like gone, right? Let's create a pre-tool use hook and then try to delete it, all right? So even before we actually create a new hook, let's first of all see all the different hooks that are available in this session. The way we do that is by doing /hooks on the Claude Code terminal. Here is where you see all the different types of hooks that we could connect to, right? So we have the pre-tool use, the post-tool use, post-tool use failure, and post-tool batch, and permission denied hooks, right? So these are essentially events that we can connect our commands to or our scripts to. So what we'll do here is we want to attach to the pre-tool use hook, right? Before any of these bash commands are run, we want to run our shell script, right? So I'll just press enter here. So here you have a bit of instructions as to how we can set this pre-tool use hook. At the moment, there are no hooks configured, right? So we'll make use of Claude Code to actually create the hook for us, okay? So what we'll do is we'll just ask Claude Code, I want you to create a pre-tool use hook, which basically doesn't allow users to delete the assets directory that is in the root level of this project. All right, it has finished creating our hook. The hooks are usually present inside of the settings.json file in the .claude folder. So let's check it out. So here you can see it has created this .claude folder, and there you have the settings.json file. What has been created for us is this JSON file. It has this matcher for a bash, matcher for bash. So that means like anytime any bash command is run by the Claude AI agent, it comes through this hook, okay? So, and the hook itself is this PowerShell command. It just runs this particular command using the PowerShell, because we are using Windows at the moment. So here, if you search for RM, you can see that anytime like this command, if the command is matching to rmdir, del, any of these, then it will basically block that execution. And since we have this pre-tool use hook right now, let's see if this works. We are going to just open another terminal. Let's first of all check if the hook that we recently created exists. So just type /hooks, and there we can see already that we have one hook to the pre-tool use. Okay, so let's just open it up, and here you can see we have this project level bash hook. So let's open it up, and you can see more details about it. It's basically a bash command hook, and the command itself is over here. So it's going to be run using the PowerShell, but you can see basically it's trying to stop these commands, rmdir, and del, and so on. Basically, it's going to write out to the stdout blocked deletion of the assets directory is not allowed by the project policy, right? So this is like the policy that we're enforcing using this hook, and it exists using two, right? So that's another convention that is being followed. So exit of 0 means it's fine, but if you exit with 2, it's basically a std error, right, to the model, and it will block the tool call. Since it looks like it has been hooked up to this pre-tool use hook, so let's ask Claude Code to delete that assets directory. So we can see that the assets directory is over here, right? So we wanted to delete it. Okay, let's see what happens now. I want you to delete the assets directory that is present in the root level of this project. Don't ask confirmation from me regarding this. Perfect. So see, over here you can see that the pre-tool use intercepted the remove command. Say this was a command this was essentially the tool that the Claude Code AI agent was trying to use, right? So this is basically, so see here, this is the token. These are the tokens that we send as request, right? So essentially this is what happened here. So when we asked it to delete the assets directory, so that's basically the request that we are providing to the LLM, right? So these are just tokens, it's just words, right? So the tokens go in as input to the LLM, right? And now the LLM, it does its magic and understands our requirements, and since we have asked it to do the deletion of that folder, it needs tools to do that, right? So basically it needs access to tools. So what it did, it said, okay, I'm going to make use of this bash command to delete that directory, to delete this directory over here. See the assets directory. But the thing is, so this was a command that the LLM, so the LLM has the command here, right? And it knows what command to use, but it can't execute it, right, on our file system. So the command itself is coming through as tokens, right, to here, the pre-tool use hook. And since it's just a standard input that comes in, we can like intercept it and check what command is coming through over here through our script, through our command, and add some logic. Since we are exiting this command with the 2, it won't go to here. The tool call is not allowed essentially, because here we intercept it. This is super powerful because LLMs by nature are non-deterministic. So they just try to get the outcome done however it seems best. But in order to like have some guardrails and control how the LLM navigates, we need a bit of determinism, right? So that's where this comes in, right? So the pre-tool use hook helps us to create these deterministic scripts that run every time before like a tool call happens. And you also can have these post-tool use hooks that run every time deterministically after a tool call happens, right? So this helps us to essentially control the LLM as to what it can and cannot do. So this is how we could enforce rules and guardrails for our Claude Code AI agents, making use of hooks. Thanks for watching.